and happy Sunday to everyone. This is Grace Enemali, your wellness coach, guiding you on your journey to regaining and retaining your health through natural foods. So you're welcome if you are just joining. Today, I want to talk about a subject which is so common amongst us, and that is managing high blood sugar, sometimes diabetes. And who are the people, the target audience for this particular life? Those that have a history of diabetes in their family, those that are currently managing diabetes with medication, those that are pre-diabetic, those that are experiencing fluctuating blood sugar, because having a high blood sugar is not a confirmation of diabetes unless a confirmatory test is done. Another set of people that should watch and listen to this message are those over 40 years. These are those people that are at risk, 40, 45 years, menopausal women. These are also the target audience for this message. Of course, we all know that diabetes is very common. It's one of the trending diseases these days. I have some secrets that have worked over the years that can help you manage high blood sugar. I have helped a lot of people control their blood sugar. I have also successfully helped my own self on certain occasions when the blood sugar rose up, bring it down naturally, and several others also using natural foods. Now, before I go quickly to these secrets, it's just very okay to highlight a few of the symptoms that are familiar with diabetes. The uncommon symptoms we know, but let's remind ourselves. The common ones are frequency of urination, sometimes too much hunger, dry mouth, sometimes dizziness, at times weakness, insomnia, or even too much of sleep, wounds that won't heal, sometimes itching or issues with the toes, several symptoms, losing weight just without any cause, and several other symptoms that may happen, and you begin to suspect diabetes or high blood sugar, especially if you are already within the age that I mentioned here. And if you are within that age, it is also advised that you often check your blood sugar, because early detection is always good, so that where necessary, you can also seek medical attention. It's okay to get the machine for the testing of your blood sugar. It's very easy and simple. You check it, the normal blood sugar, 110 over, sometimes, maybe it does not really matter, 110. We'll not talk about the high blood pressure. 110 is normally okay. Fasting blood sugar in the morning. It's good to check it. Don't assume that you don't have it or you cannot have it. Then anything above that, you also have to begin to do something and then address it before it escalates. Here are the top foods or tips rather, that you can start doing if you suspect your blood sugar is high or you want to prevent something like you're already managing it. Number one, start your day with water therapy. And don't underrate what water can do for you in terms of making your blood sugar not to run too high. When you start your day with a lot of water and your body is not, if you are properly hydrated, it has a positive effect on your blood sugar and even your blood pressure. So the first thing is to ensure that at all times you are properly hydrated. But most importantly, you start your morning with lots of water. I used to say normal, any water is okay. But over the years, I have come to realize that warm water is better for older adults, as it also has a positive effect on blood pressure and activating the internal organs, which is very good for diabetes and for the diabetics. And so for the older adults, you can make warm water your own choice. But in the absence of it, room temperature water is okay. Just ensure that you start your morning with enough water. And thereafter, you also ensure, that's number 2 tip now, that you include raw foods in your diet. Very important. In severe cases of high blood sugar, I have observed that the body finds it difficult. Okay. So you are welcome. So briefly, I'm talking about tips to help manage high blood sugar and then diabetes too. I am Grace Enemali, your wellness coach, guiding you on your journey to regaining and retaining your health naturally. You're welcome. So I have here some tips to share with us, especially the diabetics, the pre-diabetics, and those with a family history of diabetes, those that are 40 or 45 years and above. These are those also that are at risk, both men and women, menopausal women, and all such people. If you are in this category, then you need to join and listen to this message and share it as well. Diabetes, though so much has been done scientifically, but there is still much to be done, because each day we get complaints of people, high blood sugar, and all kinds of things. But today, before I get into the real tips, it's important to also refresh on some of the symptoms of high blood sugar or diabetes. Some of the symptoms of diabetes, precisely. Some of these symptoms are common symptoms that are familiar with every one of us, but there are also uncommon symptoms. How did I know this? Because I have helped a lot of people manage their blood sugar successfully using natural foods. I've also been able to help my own self on some occasions when my blood sugar was high. And so I got to know, in the process of dealing with so many people who are seeking for help for diabetes, I got to know that symptoms vary also with persons. So why it is also important, and as I recommend, that all persons that have the history or that are above 40 years or even below that ought to have the machine, simple machine, the AcuCheck, to check the blood sugar, fasting blood sugar. It's very easy and simple. You just get the strip, the pin, press, put the blood on it, and then you read it. 110 fasting blood is okay for a fasting blood sugar. But when it's more than 110, 120, 130, then it means it's slightly high. That is before breakfast. And that's the best time to check the sugar. It's also okay to check it before bedtime if you're already managing the disease. There are symptoms with certain persons, and some persons do not even experience any symptom at all. And that is why it's important to always check, occasionally check. I do not suggest that we should move about with the machine and always trying to find out, monitoring. It's okay if somebody is already managing the disease and at a critical stage or point, but on a normal day, it's just okay for all mature adults to always check our blood sugar using the simple AcuCheck or other instruments that's available to you to find out the reading. And so, what are the symptoms? Common symptoms that we know, like frequency of urination, when you have to wake up several times, maybe at night, to urinate. Too much thirst, drinking and never getting filled. Hunger, eating and never getting filled. After you eating, you are hungry again. Unexplainable weight loss, when you are just losing weight and with no known cause. Sometimes wounds that won't heal, taking longer time to heal. Sometimes itching or problem with the toes, having problem with the toes all the time, itching and all those stuff. Then sometimes some people it's too much dizziness, maybe sleeping too much, and then insomnia. For instance, in my own case, it's insomnia. If my blood sugar is high, the first symptom is I will just keep awake at night. And so it's important to also know, if you have your certain age, to know the symptoms, to always listen to your body and know when it's high. I know to some extent, I don't want to go outside of that, but like I said, to some extent, when my blood sugar is high, when there is insulin resistance, let me use the word, because that is actually when the pancreas is not producing enough or it's no longer sufficient to give us the insulin that we need to mop up the excess sugar coming out of what we are taking daily. Then that is when it can be said that the person is having type 2 diabetes. And so that insulin resistance, if you listen to your body very well and you develop the art of listening to your body, you may be able to know when there is insulin resistance. There are some of the signs, for instance, when my tummy is strong, sometimes chronic constipation may be a sign. I have also seen people who came to me with diarrhea, different symptoms that, and that's why I think diabetes is something we should talk about over and over again. I actually thought that it's a common topic that it shouldn't be talked about, but I have realized that there's no too much talking about it. because symptoms are different. Persons are different. So, insomnia is the cause, is a symptom in some people. In some people, excessive sleeping. I have also seen that in some individuals. They sleep excessively, not knowing that it could lead to coma. It's too much of sugar in the blood. And those ones may require some other medical experts to identify or talk about those ones. But I know I've seen cases of people with excessive sleeping, and then until even it got to a point of, when it was difficult and the person had to be rushed to the hospital. And so we are saying that if you have these symptoms I have mentioned, excessive weight loss and feeling dizzy, insomnia or too much of sleeping, or excessive thirst, frequency of urination, wounds that won't heal, and other weakness, itching, feet problems, having problem around your toes, and sometimes chronic constipation, and even sometimes diarrhea, frequently the body not able to operate optimally the way it should. It may be a sign, it may be time to begin to suspect. And in addition to that, even if you do not have any of these symptoms, because there are people that it does not present any symptom, and that is why it's necessary to always check your blood sugar for early detection. It's always the best. And so, what are the tips, secrets that has helped me to help others over the years? Number one, water therapy. Water therapy is so important, it's so simple, but very, very critical. You must be properly hydrated, and not just being hydrated, you should take the water as a therapy in the morning, plenty of it. Before now, I used to say any water goes. But as we get older, I also discovered that warm water is a better option because of the blood pressure. It has a positive effect on blood pressure, and it also has a positive effect on the blood sugar because it helps to activate the internal organs in the morning if the water is warm. And so making the water warm is okay. And that is not to say that room temperature water is bad totally in the absence of warm water. So that's the first tip. Ensure you're properly hydrated, and if you need to add maybe lemon juice for alkalining or whatever, you can add a dash of lemon occasionally to bring in, to start that day with alkalining food. But that is not to say that you should take it daily, because it has its own negative side effect. But once in a while, you do that. Most importantly, start your day with water therapy. Number two tip, include raw foods. Raw foods, I mean uncooked foods. When you are managing diabetes, don't continue eating only food that are cooked. Because when any food is cooked, the absorption is reduced. It requires digestive enzyme, it requires more difficulty in digestion and absorption. And that is not good for diabetes. It's not good for preventing or managing diabetes. You must include foods that are raw, that have not passed through fire or heat in your diet on a daily basis, because these are for the purpose of absorption. This includes fruits, raw fruits and vegetables, low-calorie veggies, that is in the morning. And this will also include some foods that helps with detox, because most of these ones are also they provide some form of detox. That's number two tip. Number three tip. After starting with raw vegetables, it's important also to start your day with foods that are low in calorie and spices that helps to reduce blood sugar. Those with positive effect on your blood sugar. It's good to start them in the morning so that the food. Okay. You can soak some fenugreek seeds in the water and then take it. It's also raw, though you can soak it as tea. You can soak it as tea and then take it after like overnight or 30 minutes. You can also just prepare it as tea or soak it. But when you are managing diabetes, raw foods at certain point are always the best. That is what I have observed over the years. Then you can also take fennel seed as tea. It doesn't directly lower blood sugar, but it activates internal organs. It pushes out gas, and then it helps to provide some nutrients like calcium, essential nutrients. But that is not to say you should be taking it every day. Moderation is our rule. That is the slogan here. What I am telling you or teaching you, you should be taking moderately. It does not matter how good or healthy it is. When you take in excess, it's going to have another result. That's number 3 tip. Then number 4 is that you should ensure to get sufficient daily protein. And when we talk about protein, we must ensure to get proteins that are complete. Some people say that they are going on, they don't take meat, they don't take fish, they don't take meat, they are only taking fish or whatever. But even if you are taking fish, ensure that it's a fatty fish. Fishes like sardines, mackerel. It's not just enough to just eat any fish if you are managing diabetes. And another food that people avoid a lot, when I'm talking of protein now, that's number 4 tip that you must ensure that you practice in order to maintain a healthy and normal blood sugar. Complete protein is important. Eating beans doesn't provide you complete protein, or taking just beans and moi or vegetables or whatever. You must include some form of animal protein. It may not apply to some of you, but these are what I have used and practiced and worked. Avoiding them may dispose you to not having the complete amino acids, and that may make you always hungry. It may also make you to be, you won't have a full energy, which is one of the problems with diabetes. When it's poorly managed with nutrition, the person will always be feeling weak because of the choice of foods. Avoiding those foods that shouldn't be avoided. You are welcome. I can see you, and thank you for the like. Welcome you that is in the house. You're welcome. So I am saying that on this very tip that you should ensure that you include protein. Don't just avoid so many food because people said we should avoid it. Beef is good for managing blood sugar. Beef, please, I want to hear me very well. Some people made the mistake. It's a brain food, and many diabetics who are avoiding to include beef. I'm talking beef that has no fat at all. It's a super brain food and is good for managing blood sugar as well. Because when you consume food that has incomplete amino acid, you will frequently be hungry. That is what I have also noticed in the course of managing people. You will always be hungry. You finish eating now, you are hungry again because the body is not able to utilize it. So include beef, grass-fed beef, I mean beef that has no fat in it, occasionally. In addition to legumes, in addition to all the other proteinous food, fermented foods, ensure you put your fermented foods in the list to be able to have a healthy gut flora, healthy gut environment, because life lies in the gut. So everything begins in the gut. So we need to ensure that the environment is always in a way that both the healthy and the unhealthy bacteria will, coexist without one being too much. And that is the essence of bringing in the probiotics in the diet. When you put fermented foods like fermented millet occasionally, once in a while, other fermented, condiments also to help. They also provide some form of protein. Yogurt is okay. So you need to include protein, both animal protein and plant-based. But plant-based should be more, while animal protein should be less. But abstaining totally from it is not good. One of the best foods that I will be recommending to managing your blood sugar is boiled egg, chicken egg, or guinea fowl egg, or whichever. But chicken egg is the most common. It's low in calorie. It's a source of vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin E, and vitamin D. These are powerful antioxidants that you cannot use, because one of the problems of diabetes is inflammations. And sometimes the inflammations go on for several months, years unchecked. And that is what sometimes may even lead to complications that sometimes end in hospital or require specialist care and attention. Then there are some category of foods again in the list that I want to include, and that is the fats. The fats, very important. We must include healthy fats like coconut oil. A lot of diabetics run away from fats. Avocado oil, cold pressed olive oil, fatty fish, that's called liver oil or such oil. But I want to make a point here when talking about fats, that all the fats mentioned here are not the same. So the fact that you're taking a particular one, even the red palm oil, is a good fat. It's okay. All these fats are okay. For the peanut oil is a good one too. I use it. So all of the fats, the healthy fats, the cashew nut fats are all good. But one thing I want you to know is that no two of them are the same. There are occasions when it is cold pressed coconut oil or nothing else. Because I have tried it, it's very good in managing insulin resistance. This is one of the tips I want you to have in mind. Cold pressed coconut oil is very good for insulin. I've tested it, especially when you start your day occasionally with it. When you are having symptoms of stomach ulcer, low metabolic rate, you're having problem with metabolism, you need to start to include it. It's not the same with olive oil. It's not the same with organic peanut oil. It's the only one that you can get lauric acid, papric acid, and medium chain fatty acids. They are not in any of the other foods. And these are the special agents that help to fight disease, to help to unclog arteries. For those that most of the other oil that clog arteries, like the peanut oil is also in the list of those that clog arteries. Even the red palm oil, they are good, but they have different ingredients that makes them each one unique. And so you must understand which one, but include all of them at one time or the other. Find a way to bring in the varieties that you need. When you feel that the yeast activity in your body is much, and you need to boost your metabolism, it's time to go for cold pressed coconut oil. When you feel your stomach is making sound that you can hear, then you need to go for that cold pressed coconut oil too. It doesn't stop you from the other ones that you may be taking little, but those ones, once in a while, you bring them in. Then in addition to that, another tip that I want you to know that will help you also, is to reduce foods that are high in calorie. Foods that are heavy, they are not good if you are managing diabetes. Some of us, we are used to it, we are familiar with it, we enjoy it. But when you suspect that your blood sugar is getting high, then we must find a way to discipline ourselves and reduce those foods. And another tip again is those foods that does not allow for free blood circulation. A lot of people put all their mind on wheat. A lot of people put all their mind on certain foods. For instance, wheat, especially processed one. But it's not the type of fiber that I would recommend for diabetics, especially the processed one, because of the presence of gluten. I have also tried it on some occasions, especially those processed ones. It's not the best. But before now, diabetics thought it was the last hope for them. But now we know there are healthier options. And the top foods I would recommend as carbohydrates in moderation. In case you are wondering, say, what should we be eating for diabetics? Includes sweet potatoes in moderation. The edible cassava root. Yes, it's another one. The unripe plantain occasionally. Some people were taking it and consuming it to excess. I know some people who are consuming it regularly, daily, for swallow, for everything, that it was the last hope for diabetes. But eventually, it does not support proper blood circulation because it's a resistant starch, and it even leads to high blood sugar, weight increase also. Another tip also is to avoid weight gain if you are susceptible to weight gain. If you have it, then you must be watching out. Anytime your weight is on the increase, then you need to check out. The blood sugar will follow along. Even those managing high blood pressure have the same experience, because I have also seen these ones. Once there is an increase in the weight, then if you check, the blood sugar is also rising. So what it means is that watch out for weight gain. It's a tip. So if weight gain is controlled, most likely the blood sugar also will be controlled. Another tip also is to include green vegetables every day. One of the best choices is to include green vegetables, lightly cooked. You must include green vegetables from time to time. Don't say, I ate it today, I won't eat it tomorrow. You must continue every day with green vegetables, because an alkaline food, and not only an alkaline food, it's rich in nutrients, it's low in calorie and vitamins and minerals. But take note also that all the green vegetables are not the same. I've come across this, I've done my own study on it. They are not the same. Each one is unique. Some are high in oxalic acid, which is not good for the kidney. We must also watch out for those vegetables that have high oxalic content, so that we know how to prepare it Some of them have special way to wash it and prepare it, and then you must consume them also in moderation. You must consume them in moderation. Other tip also to help you is to include seeds, more seeds, more seeds. Nut is part of it, but as the time went on, I also suggest that we must go low on nuts because most nuts are high in calorie. I was actually a fan of it, but I now know that nuts are quite high in calorie. So by the time you continue to consume nuts, because they don't carry too much of sugar, they don't carry most of the things we are running away from, the nut is going to bring about weight gain, and weight gain is going to lead to the increase in the blood sugar. So you have to also be on the once in a while, take a little of it because of your heart. It helps. Just little. You will get the signal when you need the nut, but not too much because of other things like itching, because they don't always make room for blood circulation. That's the point. They don't make it. They are heavy. Continue consuming over time, weight gain will begin, and then inflammations will start and other things. And these are the things that diabetes must guard against. So another thing that tip also that you need to also watch out for is to ensure that you consume foods that are not causing inflammation, not food that are not processed. If you can reduce the number of the processed foods in your diet, it may be easier for you to manage your blood sugar. You must take note of this. It's very important. It's a very important change you must make in your diet to reduce processed foods because they cause inflammations. They come with sugars, they come with preservatives, they come with salt, they come with a lot of other additives. Biscuits and bread are the worst offenders. So we must be careful to, in consuming them, as a matter of fact, because they will definitely lead to increase in our blood sugar. Another healthy food that is not so good, but we must not also take it out completely. It's a secret, it's a tip, and that is milk. Yes, so many bad names given to this biblical food, milk. A land flowing with milk and honey, as we are told. But today, milk is not even as the organic milk that we used to know. It's highly processed. But then, it is one of the worst foods for you if you are diabetic or you're trying to manage your blood sugar. Watch this tip. Reduce your milk. And if you can stay away completely, you have other options to get your vitamins and minerals. It's not a bad idea if you can stay away. But if not, once in a while, just very little. That's what I do, once in a while, very little, because once you take it, increase it a little, it will cause insulin resistance. Go check your blood sugar the next day, you will observe that the sugar is high. Yes. And then foods like rice, you must also be careful with them. A lot of us love it. When consuming it, make sure you include sufficient protein like chicken or turkey or meat or whatever to ensure that you get that resistance from the food, that blocking that the protein will do for you. Because rice is actually low in calorie. It's good because it supports circulation, and especially for the unpolished rice, it's good. But we should take it moderately with a lot of vegetables. Take little with a lot of vegetables and other tomatoes and whatever. It won't cause a spike if you add protein adequately. But not to cook with rice and beans. I talked about that in my last live, that we shouldn't consume rice and beans together. It's not good for diabetics, not good for high blood pressure. It's not a good combination. Another tip also is that we should, if you are managing diabetes, you should be careful to exercise. Don't take exercise for granted because it's cheap. If you think your blood sugar is high and you're trying to manage it, and you're always in your car driving in a hold up in the traffic, and when you get to the office, you get into the, no matter the healthy food you eat, you may be surprised that the blood sugar is difficult to control or to moderate or to bring down. You must engage in physical exercise moderately, because the exercise will help to burn the existing sugar. And whereas while you take caution with the incoming sugar, but the one that is already there, exercise will help you to destroy them, to burn them, to shake them out of the body. So we shouldn't take exercise for granted. It should be part of the, I've heard a lot of people recommend a lot of things, this and that, but no matter what you do, my dear, exercise is an important aspect. It's a secret. If you don't know, if you want to maintain a proper blood sugar, you must be engaged in daily exercising. Then there's another tip also, including bitters. Don't take it out, and don't take it too much. There are bitter foods like neem tea, bitter leaf, kudin tea, and so many other teas that you can take. But don't forget that even papaya leaves tea, stonebreaker, so many bitter things, berry seeds, so many bitter foods that we can occasionally. And take note of this caution again, that one bitter food is never the same with the other one. And so don't say, I am already consuming these bitters, I have so bitters. I know a lot of us buy bitters, mix, some don't even care the content of the bitters that they are consuming. They just see a bitter in the market, maybe with beautiful packaging and labeling. They just buy it. They don't even read it. Okay. It's not okay for you to any bitters in the market and just buy it and say, Mommy G said we should take bitters. I've seen this one. No, not at all. You need to know the content of the bitters that you are taking. Some people have taken some bitters and it landed them in hospital. Read the labels all the time. Make sure to read your label very well. If you are not satisfied with the content of the bitters, then you shouldn't take it. I always recommend for the diabetics or pre-diabetics to always go for the natural food bitters. These ones are the best. If it's a bitter leaf, wash it, throw the first water away because it has too much acids. Then the second one, you can take a little. I always wash it more than that whenever I want to, but it's not something I go for all the time. There are several other bitters. There are times you can go for neem tea. It has antibacterial properties. A lot of them, even the bitter leaf, it has antibacterial properties too. The papaya leaf tea and all of that. And once in a while too, there are other leaves that lowers blood sugar. and helps to control hormonal activities and other issues. This has to do with women. You need to occasionally take guava leaves and boil as tea if you have access to it, to the fresh leaves. It's great for lowering blood sugar too. Just take it as a drink. You can also take soursop leaves. You can combine the two to help with hormonal issues. It supplies the soursop, the guava leaf is a source of nutrients. Helps you to sleep. I do occasionally use them, not all the time. But you need to incorporate bitter foods occasionally in your diet. If this is an important tip, occasionally in your diet to ensure that your liver is in good condition, because bitter foods are super healthy for your liver. Yes, bitter foods. And then another thing that I have also discovered, another tip, secret, is vitamin C. Now, I'm not talking of the acidic, low profile vitamin C that you see around. I'm talking of the high potency vitamin C. If you're managing diabetes or a pre-diabetic, or you are within the category of people I mentioned that should watch and listen to this live, you need to occasionally take vitamin C as an antioxidant. Yes, at times when you're experiencing some weakness, some signs, because it helps with collagen also, because the body will be getting soft, absorption of nutrients, but most of the nutrients that are needed at that time are the antioxidants. And which ones are they? Vitamin A, you can find it very well in egg. You can find it very well in fish oil. You need vitamin C, as I have said. You need vitamin E, it's a powerful antioxidant. You need vitamin D. And these are to fight inflammations. So the diabetics are to focus on the antioxidant-rich foods. Because when the antioxidants are neglected, sometimes we are misled to avoid these foods that are loaded with these antioxidants. And when we do that, inflammations, arthritis, and all kinds of things keep coming here and there. It's normal, especially for the older adult, for these things, once in a while, they come about to knock. And that's why I'll be coming to the next tip now, that we must make dietary changes. It's a secret that every diabetic should know. All the pre-diabetics should know. Don't continue with one food. Unripe plantain, yes, you are eating it every day. You have been told it's good for diabetes, and every day you go and buy tons and cartons of it and start eating it. And the next thing you will notice is your leg start having problem, because blood circulation may be reduced. I actually stopped eating it because my mother also I have a family history of diabetes, so I'm already mindful of it. And so each time I consume the unripe plantain, because there was so much excitement that the unripe plantain is the best, and all diabetics just go and buy it and be eating as if it was a cure. But when I tried it, maybe because my blood group or whatever, as I later was trying to insinuate, my legs will black, start getting darker. And that's why the diabetes should always be on the lookout. You should check your legs, check your body and all of that, to see when you consume certain foods, how is your body responding to it. Mr. A is eating it, it's working. But I have also seen people who were eating unripe plantain, eating all this stuff, and blood sugar was high. There are some foods that we were running away from before. Starchy foods like cassava, the cassava swallow we see. It does not have, especially when it's fermented, if you take it in small amounts with vegetable soup, if you go check your blood sugar, especially if you take it at the right time, because the timing of the food, I will come to that. That would lead me to the next tip, that all diabetics, pre-diabetics should watch out. It does not matter what anybody told you or sold to you that once you take it, diabetes will disappear. I do not believe in that. It's a total life change, lifestyle changing and overhauling of your previous life before you can take hold of diabetes and say, yes, I'm in charge. So if you have been doing that, then the next tip is avoiding late meals. If you have been eating late and you are getting to that point, you need to be very, very conscious of it. It's something you must do something drastically about. You must not, you must avoid temptation to consume late any heavy meal after 7:30 p.m. If you do it, tomorrow morning blood sugar will be high. So this is a tip you should note. It's assumed that many of us are already aware of this, but some are still not, are still in doubt how much effect it has. It has a lot of effect on the blood sugar when you consume late meals, especially foods that have oil and fat. If you must consume anything, you must be very careful. I can tell you some of the things I take when it's late. Surprisingly, some of them will shock you. I take tea sometimes, but not all the time. But once in a while, most times I take cold-pressed coconut oil. Yes, it may surprise you because cold-pressed coconut oil is a detox food and it will not cause a spike in my sugar the next morning. And when I think it's magnesium I need, I soak my almond ahead of it and take 2 or 3 of it, and off you go. It provides the diabetics or the pre-diabetic with magnesium and calcium, because most times as the diabetics or the pre-diabetics are trying to avoid milk, which I already stated earlier that it leads to insulin resistance. Now, some people may suggest the low-fat milk. I've tried all of that, and I have even confirmed that I want full cream now. If I want to go for milk, I'll take, but very little, because the low fat is not the best. It seems to be more acidic. I don't have any proof, scientific thing about it, but that's my own body something. So it seems to be more acidic. So we should, as we are trying, the diabetics are trying to avoid milk, avoid certain foods that are causing the spike in the blood sugar. They begin to lose out on magnesium, they begin to lose out on calcium, they begin to lose out on important minerals, including zinc, phosphorus for the bone, magnesium, potassium. Small time, it will now turn to high blood pressure, from high blood sugar to high blood pressure. In fact, most people that I know, I've come across, who are diabetic, incidentally also have high blood pressure. Because when you are trying to avoid one ignorantly, you may be losing out on potassium, on magnesium, on calcium. And when these minerals are not there, zinc and the rest of it, it now turns against the blood pressure. And so that's why we must listen to this tip. So while you are avoiding the milk, you must also bring in foods that are high in calcium, food that will supply you the important nutrient for the heart, like almond, soaked almond. You must not take it too much. I've said it before. Maximum before bed. Even surprisingly, 2 is a nut, very tiny nut. I should have brought it here to show us. Maybe next time I'll show us. But you can also search it on the Google and be able to get the image of it. But I always have it at home. It's not a daily something, but whenever you are hungry or maybe you want to go to bed, there are foods you should eat. That's the point I'm talking. It's a secret. At times you'll be wondering, if you take tea, which is always low in calorie and You want if you take tea, for instance, most of the teas also rip our bones of calcium. And so look as if you are breathless, and sometimes they say it's ulcer, all kinds of things. And so, but if you take something like almond, cashew is okay sometimes, but cashew is heavier and it's a source of zinc and some other. But the one that I have personally noticed that it doesn't spike your sugar in the morning. When you take it in small amount, you feel full and you sleep wonderfully and beautifully, waking up without a spike in your blood sugar. This is one of the secrets. What you take before you sleep, last thing at night, don't eat late meals. And consume, if you must eat something, be careful of what you are eating. Get certain foods at home in case you want to take something at the odd hour. And I mentioned some of these things. You can even take cold pressed olive oil. It's a food. It's a bone strengthening food. It won't even spike your sugar as well. Just take a little. It supports your heart because it's a source of vitamin E. And so you need to include foods like that. Have them at home. Sesame seeds is super healthy also, and it's good for your teeth. You need to have roasted sesame seeds as well. It's low in calories, rich in nutrients. And if you must take something, you can take the roasted sesame seed, the small amount, and you are good to go. So listening to your body before you sleep. There are times when obviously you must take something, though you had eaten around 5 p.m. or 4 or 6, but you just have to take something. It can't be tea all the time because too much tea is not good for your bones. It will cause some like taking out calcium out of your bones, and then sometimes there may be no magnesium for the heart. It looks as if the heart wants to fail. I don't even know. But when you take food that has magnesium, like sesame seed, like almond, in small amounts, cashews in small amounts is good too. Roasted cashews, you'll be able to sleep and your brain will be okay. But I told you, sometimes I prefer to drink coconut oil just for my brain. And as a matter of fact, yesterday or so, I took it. At all times, very odd hour of the night, 1 p.m., 1 a.m. If I wake up, I feel and I perceive this thing, I go for it. Take a little without drinking water, and it goes because oil works slowly. So just little, half cup full. Sometimes less than half cup full. Just very little, and it moves. It begins to simmer down to the bones. Very powerful food. I don't want to talk about it today. And then it will get to the brain. Before you know it, you are off to sleep. And if you are not sleeping well, your blood sugar is also at risk of rising. That's another tip. So anything that interferes with your sleep is your enemy if you are diabetic. If you are pre-diabetic, you should fight that thing. And that's why exercising helps you to sleep well. Exercising helps the blood to dilate, helps you not to gain weight, help your digestion, help all the other organs that needs exercise in order to function. So you must not eat the wrong food before you go to bed. That is also one of the tips that all diabetics. And another thing also that is also helping me, which I need to also share with us, is including blood sugar lowering foods, having them at home. I already told us the common ones I take once in a while: cloves. Take bacteria fighting food like ginger and turmeric. Take the tea once in a while. Take garlic, chew your garlic in the morning to help reduce inflammations and bacterial activities, and several other foods like that. So, still on the tips, and finally, some of the things also that have been helping me to avoid spike in the blood sugar, to reduce the frequency of the blood sugar rising, is including easily digestible foods. Among the beans, I use the black-eyed cowpea. Yes, I use the black-eyed cowpea. And then I ensure that I include foods like cinnamon in almost every meal, because it helps with natural insulin production, especially if you're consuming any food that is starchy, has starch, or even fat, or even add it to your tea. I do every day for several years. Cinnamon is a part of my daily diet. Either the powder, most times the powder, cinnamon. Another food that I will encourage is a secret, it's a tip. I call it secret because a lot of people may not understand how potent that these things are. Sea salt. It's rich in minerals. You can switch to natural sea salt to get most of the minerals that you need. And as a matter of fact, once in a while, use it to gargle, to get nutrients to your teeth. You can use it to soak your feet if you suspect any thing like poor circulation or feet issues, or you need to pull out toxins in the body, because this is one of the biggest challenges that the diabetics are facing every day. Toxic overload, inflammations, nutrient deficiency, and sometimes even some nutrients will be too much, and all kind of stuff on a daily basis that the diabetics are faced with these challenges. I already talked of the importance of the antioxidant-rich foods and the vitamin C, which you must take once in a while. Take the high potency vitamin C, include it, take it occasionally, to swallow it. Get the 1000 mg. I have to tell you what I take. Once in a while, you take it to help with collagen, to help raise your immunity, and even support the bone too. But don't take it every time. If you take it every day, every time, your body will learn to not function until it comes. That is one of the secrets. Whatever you are doing, if you do not take a break and allow the body to function on its own, it will get to a point that unless you bring 1000 mg of that vitamin C, it will not function. So moderation remains the rule. And another tip is including in the middle of the day, ensure that you take fruits, raw fruits, non-sugary fruits, midday, so as to reduce the weight, the amount that you may likely consume for the last meal of the day. That is where I suggest that your fiber as a pre-diabetic or a diabetic should come from. Fibers from cucumbers, which are the peels. Sometimes you mix it with pineapple. Sometimes you can take apple. Don't stay away from fruits completely. That's the mistake many diabetics are doing. You can combine it with foods that can lower sugar and still consume it. I even consume bananas. Don't say banana is, yes, I know banana spike sugar very high. But you can take it once in a while. You can mix it with chia seed. You can mix it with cinnamon. You can mix it with other foods that can help to counteract its effect and still get the nutrients that you will be missing out by avoiding it. It's avoiding too many foods that leads to other complications. Brings in blood pressure, high blood pressure, brings in the other things, arthritis, and all other things, brain-related issues. When you are avoiding meat, for instance, coconut oil is super healthy for the brain. But when we are avoiding all of that, the brain suffers. And I do feel it at times. That's why once in a while I say we should ensure to include the brain foods like that in small amounts so that the brain will not suffer. All these organs, they have need of all of this. And I know Mother Nature knows why they are there for us. Only that we should consume them moderately. Don't overdo it. That is our rule, that is our secret. Include foods like onions. Onions is high in sugar, but whenever you want to include it, include cinnamon. Sprinkle cinnamon in that food because it's a low-calorie food and it has a lot of nutrients that supports your eyes and supports fight against diabetes. Onions, carrots. These are sweet foods. But you can combine them. I talked about food combining in my last presentation. You can combine them in a way that it won't give that effect. It will not cause that spike that is expected. If you listen to that message on the food combining, you may also get something there. Why avoiding too many foods is not the best option. Understand that you must continue to make dietary changes. That's another tip. Make dietary changes. Dietary modification. Don't say you are eating this particular food for the past 5 months. It's just that food you are eating. You have not, somebody told you about a particular food that is good for diabetes and you are focused on it. No changes. You ate it the first day, it was good for you. And after that day, you have continued on it. That's what I'm saying. You must continue to make dietary modifications. Bring in new foods. If you know any food that's natural, embrace it. Test it. When you consume it, listen to what your body is saying. Yes, your body will communicate to you if that food is good or not. And if you need to do away with it, then you stop. Managing diabetes naturally. You can use food, lifestyle, knowledge through messages like this. It's all you need so that you know the right foods that can help you. The list is endless. We can continue. I can continue on and on and on. There are so many seeds like cumin seeds, so many seeds, pumpkin seeds. But a lot of people don't look at seeds. Diabetics, they don't mind. They just eat the normal solid food that they've been eating right from their childhood. And so when it gets to the time when they need more nutrients in the body than calorie, that is where the problem comes. They don't even have idea of what to eat. And even when the food is available, the taste bud may not even like it because that's what was trained, brought or raised to eat. I remember the first time they offered me salad. It was like something else. I couldn't taste it because that's not what I was raised with. I wasn't raised with salad. So we need to be bringing in, making dietary changes, modifications. Don't stick to that particular food that you know you've been consuming. That is one of the secrets that every diabetic and pre-diabetic should know. You must be searching out for new ones. They may not taste well because you are not used to them, but try it. Try it. And incidentally, most of them has to be natural. That they have to be natural. Include fermented foods. Include, I don't want to talk about soya beans. It's also another very good food when you get the real soya beans in moderation with complete amino acids. Include it in your diet moderately. It's a sort of vitamin E, and it has a lot of nutrients that supports the heart. Phytochemicals that supports the heart. Help to clean the arteries. But you must take it moderately because it can contribute to weight gain. And once weight gain is there, blood sugar begins to rise. You are susceptible to weight gain. And at the same time, blood pressure may also begin to rise. There's so much, but I don't want to take too long. I've already taken enough time. Thank you for watching. Remember to stay healthy naturally and to subscribe to this channel for more. See you again.